Hi guys, thanks for joining me. I just wanted to make this quick video concerning this point, which is quite a basic point, but it could be a very important point, and that is that 2022, which we're in now, is actually a Shemitah year. Now, what's meant by Shemitah in the Bible, what they used to do was, God commanded them to let the fields like rest from crop growing and stuff, just to give the soil a bit of a break, and just to take what they had and kind of save for that year, a bit like a Sabbath day. You take, or you bake, or you should bake on the Friday, keep it for the Lord's Day, Sabbath. So if you need to eat on the Sabbath, then you've already got it the day before. It's a bit like that with the Shemitah. You're going to let the land rest. But there's also a thing of letting like debtors forgive, like creditors forgive debtors of their debts during that time. So it was like a sort of forgiveness of debt, money. But what's come to light, I learned this through Jonathan Kahn when he was doing his research. Now, this must have been 2015 that he was talking about it, because I went on my stock trading account last night and I seen the crude oils going up, so we're all in the green, so that's good. Might get back the money I lost in that little trade. But I noticed, I just it was just in the spirit. I looked at the UK 100, which is like a 100 best UK companies, which is a good average for the stock market itself, company wise. And I looked at it, and yeah, basically there's a 7, which 7 is the holy number of God. There's a 7-year cycle of money market downsides or collapses, so to speak. There's a 7-year cycle as it goes. And just to sort of give you like the heads up, 9/11 was on one of them Shemitahs. So September 2001 was actually a Shemitah. After 9/11 happened came the crash. Alright, so then we can go, and obviously they knew about it. What the world government, just quickly, I don't want to digress too much in my videos now, but they would have known about the crash before it happened, because they did the event. So what they would have done is, because the market was riding high, they would have sold and made a good profit on what they had been bought, invested in, maybe 6 years before. But what also you can do then is you can put what's known as a short trade or a sell trade, where you sell something, and then what happens is when the market collapses, you sell it at 2,000, the market collapses, and then the second part of the trade is you buy it back, and you might buy it back at £200. So then you've made £1,800 on the market collapse. I can guarantee you that's what the world leaders would have done, because they knew it was coming. Like, if you know the market collapse is coming, like I made on one of my videos, I said, sell stocks before the stock market collapses. Just plunder the Egyptians like we did in the time of my father Moses during the Exodus. So yeah, the world leaders would have done that during 9/11, because they knew it was going to happen. They were talking about it. They told Aaron Russo about it, the Rockefellers, 11 months earlier, and he blew the whistle, and then they murdered him with some sort of mysterious disease. Who knows what's out there. So we have 9/11, and then we can go 7 years on, and then you get to 2008, and it's more around August. I was looking more specifically at it last night, and it's more around the August time that the collapse happened. So you have August 2008, and I know about this one as well, because it must have been just soon after 2008 I went to start a business, and I had ISAs, savings accounts, and I had quite a few £1,000 in there, and I went to pick them up, and they were worth less than when I put them in. And he goes, well, it's bad time now, the market's collapsed. And he goes, well, we basically lost, I lost about, I don't know, 2,000, whatever it was, 3,000 at the time, which, you know, at the time, yeah, they did have quite a lot of money. But yeah, they lost it because just after that 2008 must have been when I was starting my business, not long after. So that was another Shemitah point, which was, like I say, around August 2008. So then you can go another 7 years on from 2008, obviously then years at 2015. And I believe that was when the blood moons, and I believe that's when Jonathan Kahn was talking about it more, because the Shemitah was coming up. And I looked again at the graphs, and yeah, actually more around August time, this was, you know, the more of the meat of the crash happening. 2015, there was still a market downside, you know, not a massive crash where everyone's like, wow, we lost all our money. But yeah, there was a market adjustment downside in 2015, around August time. And so then we can go on from 2015, another 7 years, obviously, we come to 2022. Now, a market collapse did happen in February, March time of 2020, I think it was. I was in working at that time, and that was basically when the UK had the full lockdown where you couldn't do anything, you couldn't go out. They were like, where are you going, and is it crucial travel and all this crap, martial law basically. And yeah, the market collapsed there. Now it was quite a big crash, but the thing is, that was man-made. Obviously COVID is not a real virus, it's all man-made. And like I said, the world leaders would have been involved in that. Maybe they were trying their hand because it was a big crash. I can guarantee that they sold, you know, they'd invested. Obviously since 2015 they would have bought low and made a good profit until, you know, January 2020. And then I guarantee just before they trigger all this COVID stuff off, they would have sold at high price, made a profit, and like I said, they may have made another trade doing a sell position and watch it collapse, and you know, around maybe the end of 2020 or when it's at its real low, they buy it back again and they've made money from the crash as well. But that was here's the point now, a couple of points. That was a man-made virus, and that was a man-made crash, and it wasn't in line with the Shemitah cycle. Now the Shemitah cycle is, obviously you can guess from it, it's a holy thing. 7 years, which is God's number. 6 is Satan's number, you know, 666. God's number 777, and it's a 7-year cycle, and it's in humanity, so to speak. So it can't really be changed. It's just something like world events will happen, whether the world leaders think that they've done it or not. But world leaders would have not had a part in it. Yeah, so point being that the world leaders would not have had they don't have a part in the Shemitah cycle. It's just basically the way the world goes. But obviously God is in control of the world events, so this is a cycle of humanity basically. And so that's the first point, being that it's like a supernatural thing. It's not made by the government. Now the government made the crash of 2020 happen in February time. They're just trying to sort of play God, if you like. But they can do it themselves anyway, just by all selling at the same time. When someone sells in the stock market, it goes down a little bit. You know, if a big group of people sell at the same time, then it goes down even more. So if they all sell, like say, if they all sold before the day before even 9/11 happened, the market would have started to go down anyway. Do you know what I mean? So that's how it works. But getting back to this, well, the 2015 anyway, where Jonathan Kahn was talking about market collapse and the blood moons were coming, it seemed like a time of where the seals might begin, because seal number 1, the Antichrist is crowned, King William. Is crowned king. Now, interestingly enough, he's going to be 40 this year. And then seal number 2, war outbreak from Israel, not from Ukraine or Russia. War outbreak from Israel with one of the Muslim nations, probably Iran. And them dragging all the other nations into it, like Russia and China on the side of Iran. And I suppose the West, the Roman Empire, NATO coming into on the side of Israel. And so that's seal number 2. And then obviously when that kicks off, that's when seal 3 happens, which is market collapse. Seal number 3 is market collapse. So interestingly enough, that, you know, we had 9/11, 2001 September, and then we had 2008 around August, and then we had 2015 around July actually, and now we're coming into 2020, which is a Shemitah year. So we're living in the time. We're living in a year of Shemitah. We're living in a year of financial downside, and it's a supernatural cycle that cannot be stopped. You know, man can make its own crash like they did in 2020, but the supernatural Shemitah of God is, it seems, ongoing. You know, I didn't really notice this. I knew about the market collapse, obviously, when I was born again, 2015, but then I thought that things were just like on hold, basically, until the seals started beginning. But looking back at the graph last night, I could see that the Shemitah actually never stopped. You know, like I just said, on, and then 2015, and now we're living in the year of a Shemitah. Interesting. And none of the seals have opened yet. People ask me all the time and they try and guess. Like I've just said, Antichrist is crowned and released. He sits on the throne of David in London, King William V, seal number 1, and he comes out to conquer the world. War outbreak from Israel, seal number 2. And then market collapse happens, seal number 3. So I suppose what I'm trying to get through is like a bit of a booster is, yeah, one of the seals is market collapse, and it hasn't happened yet, because when it does, I believe that this collapse, they'll make it so a cashless society and or a new currency like Bitcoin or something is the only way out of it. Do you know what I mean? I think that's how it might go down. So, and like I said, this is a market collapse of the Bible. We've had Shemitah cycles, we've had these little market collapses every 7 years. And so, yeah, seal number 3, market collapse. And we're living in the year of the Shemitah, and every Shemitah, 7-year cycle, the market collapses. I looked at it last night. I looked at the stock market side of it, and it's going strong. You know what I mean? So yeah, I highly expect, from a biblical point of view and a reality point of view as well, like I said, you can go look at the graphs yourself, that this year will be the year of the market collapse, which, if that's the case, will be the year of the seals happening. And you know, one might say, well, 7 years is 7 years, maybe it'll be next Shemitah. Well, like I said, I think he's coming up of age. The Pope is, you know, getting old. Obama as well, is away with the fairies kind of thing. But you know, I've been born again for, it feels like a long, well, it is a long time I suppose, but it's coming up on my 9th year birthday. So yeah, so the like completion of 8 years being born again. So I was only born again, you know, 2 years before the last Shemitah. So it's a long time between these time periods. So it's definitely a year for these seals to begin. Like I didn't know it anyway, because I pray God and say, how long, oh Lord, how long? And you know, Satan's away with the fairies kind of thing, and you know, all these world events, they're all in limbo, and you know, sort of like getting a bit impatient, like, but you know, when are these events going to begin? And the thing bounces back at me. When I ask him, he kind of bounces back as if he's asking me the same question, like, how long are you? And then in my heart I'm thinking, well, to be honest, you know, I haven't really completed my work to a proper time where I can just say, hold up my hands and just say I've done all I can do. But over the years I've been like, well, yeah, I'm sort of near now. But at the moment, in the last year, it's been a time where I can say, yeah, actually I'm close to a point where I can say I've done all I can do. I've done illustration slides, images, books, booklets to print online, video sermons for all these prophecies. I've exhausted it. No stone's been unturned, you know. I've done everything I can, and it is getting to the point with me on my personal journey. I'm not saying that, you know, that like I'm not saying like the world's sort of in limbo waiting on me to finish my work or anything, but I could say that, you know, my work and its timeline of being complete is probably in line with, well, the end of the age, actually the end of the age, my ministry actually beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I complete my work, then soon, very soon, well, soon after is probably when the end of the age events are going to begin, because it's all kind of lining up nicely now, and you know, I can sort of see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, as in you know, my journey, well, not my journey I suppose, but my sort of mission of getting this all down on paper and getting it out to the world availability is coming to a completion, which is great, you know. So yeah, from also my point of view, the Shemitah year, which we're in now, like, is also the year that I will complete my work, whether it be 2 weeks from now or whether it be 2 months from now. It will happen this year too. So it's not just one thing, you know, a 7-year cycle of crashes. It's not just war, outbreak. It's my own personal journey. Actually, it's been more of a compass than anything over the last couple of years, because like when Satan was in the heavens, and I thought, well, okay, the man-child's going to be 2 years old, 3 years old at the end of this year. I believe it was 2020 would have been, would it? 3 years since 2017, 18, 19, 20, yeah. So September 2020, the man-child would have been 3 years old in the wilderness of the heavens, basically. I don't believe he's in the wilderness of heaven, so to speak. He's probably in a separate house, because Enoch talks about 2 houses being in heaven. Revelation talks about 2 houses, places in heaven, because he goes to see Jesus first, and then another portal opens up, another door in heaven, he says, opens up, and he goes through and he's in the presence of God Almighty. So it's a separate room. So I believe that Jesus is in his separate house until that time where he's brought forth to go to God's throne to receive his inheritance, which is this earth, and open the 7 seals. So this is, you know, all these things are, you know, like William again is going to be 40 years old in June, so he's coming up of age now where they really need to get him in. Satan's away with the angels trying to look for that coming man-child to the throne, but he's away in the manger in the heavens somewhere where Satan can't find him, just like the first coming. Herod couldn't find him. And so, yeah, but when that man-child does come to the throne, when Israel does say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, I believe that's what's going to have to happen. That's the only connection in Revelation between like Israel and the man-child, is that she brings forward the man-child. And then when he's brought forward, he goes to the throne. Satan tries to stop it. That's why Barack Obama is gone. The spirit that was powering him, embodying him, possessing him, is away. I mean, he came to me in 2020. I contended with Satan for 7 days, but he's still away. The New World Order is kind of in limbo at the moment. But at that time, where the man-child's going to be caught up to the throne, Satan is going to go. Michael's going to go to war with Satan and his angels, and all the angels are going to get thrown down to earth. And that is at the time then that Satan will be, I suppose you could say, incarnated as Barack Obama, lightning from the heights, and he'll go off to make war with the woman, which is Israel. So these things are yet to come, and the seals are yet to come. But like I said, one of the seals is market collapse, and we're living in Shemitah year, which is a market collapse year. So, hope I didn't go on too much. I've been Pastor Prophet Justin Roberts from End of the Age Bible Prophecy. God bless you all. Amen.